President Trump is ramping up feuds against outgoing Senator Bob Corker and his own Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson. CBS News White House and senior foreign affairs correspondent Margaret Brennan has more on the tensions.
In an early morning tweet, President Trump referred to the Tennessee Republican as Little Bob Corker and said he was made to sound a fool by a New York Times reporter who recorded their conversation. Yet in this audio clip, the senator clearly consents to being taped.
I know they're recording it, and I hope you are too.
Yeah, I am.
In that interview, Corker said Mr. Trump may be headed towards World War III. Today, White House spokesperson Sarah Sanders weighed in.
Senator Corker is certainly entitled to his own opinion, but he's not entitled to his own facts.
She then repeated the erroneous claim that Corker supported the Iran nuclear deal.
We have concerns.
Even though he voted against it.
He may have voted against the deal ultimately, but he not only allowed the deal to happen, he gave it credibility.
The Iran deal is also a source of tension with Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. Last week, it was revealed that Tillerson called the president a moron in a private meeting.
I guarantee you, my IQ is much higher than theirs, all right?
During the campaign, the president often bragged about his intelligence. Regarding Tillerson, the president told Forbes magazine, "I guess we'll have to compare IQ tests, and I can tell you who is going to win." A comment he later denied hurt the secretary's credibility.
No, I didn't undercut anybody. I don't believe in undercutting people.
State Department spokesperson Heather Nauert.
What's the secretary's IQ?
It's high.
At the briefing, Sarah Sanders insisted it was all a joke and said the president still has full confidence in his Secretary of State. Elaine?
All right, Margaret, still, how could the president's comments about Rex Tillerson's IQ affect the secretary's ability to do his job?
Well, look, if you put this in line with exactly what the president said on Saturday, which was that he was disappointed that he hoped Secretary Tillerson were sometimes stronger than he is, you now have, in the course of 4 days, the president insulting the intelligence of America's top diplomat and the strength of him. That cannot help him walk into a room and negotiate with an ally or an adversary and have that person on the other side of the table understand that he carries the full heft and confidence of the president with him, no matter how many times the White House insists the president still has full confidence. This is still damaging. And anyone who covers diplomacy and knows that any remark from the president gets translated into languages around the world can understand that they'll take the president at his word. Sarcasm doesn't translate.
Yeah, absolutely. One can only imagine how this is being interpreted in world capitals. Well, Margaret, as you mentioned, the president is ramping up his feud with Senator Bob Corker. What's the impact of this ongoing back and forth?
Well, the president needs every Republican vote he can get right now on Capitol Hill, so it's a strategy that could make his own agenda harder to achieve, whether it's the upcoming budget negotiations, which Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell pointed out they need Senator Corker's help on, or whether it's any kind of upcoming tax reform. But most immediately, Bob Corker is chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and his buy-in is really needed if the White House moves forward with this risky gamble they're going to play, which is to possibly decertify Iran's compliance with the nuclear accord, which would give Congress the ability to put sanctions on Iran, but then ask Congress not to put sanctions on Iran. As you can see, it's a bit of a complicated strategy, and it's one they need Bob Corker's buy-in on because he wrote the law in the first place that they are asking him to alter. So behind the scenes, there have been these talks which may be leading to some of this tension and maybe why the president continues to criticize Bob Corker about his law that he crafted to provide oversight of the Iran deal. So there's a lot of complications behind the scenes, and that is why the president seems to be calling names.
Well, to follow up on the Iran deal, UK Prime Minister Theresa May, we know, spoke with the president about his decision on the Iran nuclear deal, which is expected later this week. How is the international community reacting to the possibility of decertification?
Every single partner in this deal, whether they are actually a U.S. ally, like the UK Prime Minister, or prime minister or sometimes an adversary like Russia or China. Remember, they're also party to this deal. They all oppose any kind of move that would put this deal at risk. And so they all are urging the president not to do anything to jeopardize hurting the deal, which they argue is continuing to work and has kept Iran's nuclear program frozen. They are amenable to further talks and further actions against Iran, and they're urging the president to go that route. Talk to us about what we can do in the future. Don't try to undo the past, and don't put at risk something that is working. So that is why you were seeing this full court press in these final days before that October 15th deadline, including from the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
To watch in the days ahead. Margaret Brennan at the White House. Margaret, thank you.